Neil Ihde.
Good morning. I'll start out with this. I'm not an industry expert. You need to know that right off the bat. But I enjoyed getting to know several of you last night at the ranch and hearing more about the intricacies of your work. But I'm not an industry expert. But I am an expert on personalities. I know people. I know personalities. I know the power of understanding your own personality and how it can increase your personal and professional effectiveness. I know most groups embrace this process. They find this process fascinating. But I also know there's a couple personality types that are a little skeptical about this touchy-feely personality stuff, okay? Those personality types are ISTJs and ESTJs. And I happen to know that 41.8% of the people in this room are ISTJs and ESTJs. And I can typically pick them out in an audience because they're looking at me like this. Anyone out there looking like that? But I also know that they can become some of the biggest fans of the Myers-Briggs personality type once they understand that it's a systematic way of understanding how to interact with others, how to get to know them, and how to increase their effectiveness in their conversations with others. I want to thank you for inviting me down here today, and I want to thank a lot of you for completing the Myers-Briggs online, and I got those reports back to you, and I hope you found those fascinating. We're going to talk more about that today. And because so many of you completed them, we have some very interesting data on what this section of your organization looks like, and I think that you'll find that fascinating as well. Doing things
So let's
alone.
take a look at the agenda.
A great story. I had some friends of ours, and the wives said, you know, both our husbands love fishing. We should get them to fish together, and both husbands are introverts. And both of them said to their wives, I will go fishing with him if I don't have to talk. So it worked out fantastic. They just fished and didn't talk, and they had a great time. And then don't pressure them to socialize or interact with other people. I appreciate Scott sending an introvert bus home at 7 o'clock last night so the introverts can say, okay, enough of this. We're heading back. I got on the 8 o'clock bus. All right, sensing and intuition. This one, there's differences in all of these, but this is the biggest chasm of difference between these two. What we're looking at is information, how you take in information. Sensors take in information through their 5 senses. Whatever they see, taste, touch, feel, smell, whatever's real, concrete, actual, factual information, that's what they pay attention to. They're data-driven. They go on experience. What have we done in the past? They don't trust their gut on things. They want to back things up with facts. Common sense, practical, down-to-earth kind of folks. If you would ask me what the temperature is in this room as an intuitive, I may say, well, it feels very comfortable. For a sensor, they would say it's 68.9 degrees in here. Okay, intuitive people just want to get in the ballpark. Sensors want it precise. They want it exact. They want to follow the letter of the law. Intuitive folks want to follow the spirit of the law, right? But sensors want to follow the letter of the law. Intuitive folks, the information they pay attention to isn't tangible. It isn't things that you can see, taste, touch, feel, and smell, because it's conceptual. It's possibilities. It's theories. It's all these things that are intangible out there. They love to take a big picture approach to the information. That's the information that they pay attention to. They do trust their intuition. They do trust their gut. And you know what? 85 to 90% of the time, they're kind of right on about things. And they get really frustrated with sensors that says, well, I'm right, just get on board with me. They don't, because sensors go, I don't trust your gut feeling. I can't quantify that. I suppose I could track your gut feeling decisions over time and kind of make a chart about that, but that doesn't seem real practical right now. So forgive me if I don't trust your gut feeling on this, and I want to back it up with some data. Now, intuitive folks get themselves in trouble because they ask one question and they ask it a lot. Any guesses on what that one question is? Why? Why do we do what we do? That's what intuitive folks want to know. It's not that sensors aren't interested in the why. Sensors are interested in the what. What are we going to do? What's the work in front of us? How do we get this done? Intuitive folks want to say, why are we doing this? How does it connect to our core values? How does it connect to our vision? I don't want to do any work unless I know it's connected to something bigger. It's got to make sense to me on some level. And so intuitive folks, it seems like they're being obstinate or stubborn or maybe even a little lazy when they ask that question, but really they want to know, what's my motivation? Why are we doing what we're doing in this situation? And if you remember The Far Side by Gary Larson, that guy was pretty intuitive. Some of his stuff was really, really out there. You had to be on the same wavelength to follow his stuff. So any questions or clarifications on this one? Yeah?
Is there a high degree of correlation between introvert and extrovert sensing or
Nope. No, they're totally separate dichotomies. Yeah. So I got to pick on, let's take a look at some statistics here. This is where the U.S., this is about a 60-40 split. And this is where, when intuitive folks say, people just don't get me sometimes, that's because they don't. I mean, there's just not a lot of people out there that get them. But when two intuitive people find each other, something magical happens. They just get each other on a whole other level. When two intuitive people sit down for a meeting, 45 minutes into the meeting, they're going, what were we supposed to be talking about? Because whatever conversation they have, they're starting to chase tangents all over the place. Sensors are a little bit more sequential. And here's how you guys came out. Nearly 70% are sensing, 30.1% are intuitive. Any surprises there? Surprising that intuitives are so high? It is, and there's some tension there. There's some interesting creative tension in what I found with some of the literature about your organization that we'll expand upon a little bit. There seems to be a sense of, we kind of like this intuitive stuff, but let's just make sure we're basing things on fact. Be a little creative, but don't get out there too much. Come back down to earth. So I got to pick on intuitives a little bit. Intuitives can be creative, but not always practical. And these are actual patents that people have applied for. This is an aquarium watch for those people that wanted to have live animals on their wrist and a watch at the same time. These intuitives needed sensors in their lives. So they say, no, don't waste any more time on this idea. Do you need a diaper on your parakeet? Is that a problem for you? Don't chase that idea. There's already a patent on it. Want to walk your snake, but just don't have a leash for it? This guy came up with a way to solve that problem. And this last one, honestly, is the best. I can't believe that someone applied for a patent on this. This is a nose pick. So if this doesn't work for you, you can buy this. So